slips. This video is going to be completely dedicated to the slip because I believe there's a lot of mistakes that are being made. There's a lot of ways that you can do a slip as far as making sure, depending on your level of experience when it comes to boxing, it's all going to depend on, you know, if you're a beginner, how does that slip look? And as you develop your body and get comfortable with your body, there's going to be different ways to slip in respects of a few things. This channel is based for those people out there that are looking at boxing as a great way to work out and a lifestyle commitment, meaning you can box in your backyard, you can go to a boxing studio, a boxing gym, but you're not looking to take it further than just fitness and getting as good as you possibly can and learn the sport. So same thing with this channel. I want to get you better at boxing, learn how to do it correctly. So let's talk about the slip. The slip is going to be a defensive move where a straight punch is coming at you. Now we know the straight punches, you're looking at the jabs and the crosses. When a 1-2 comes at you, a jab or cross, that's what we want to slip. The way you want to slip a punch is to go to the punch. So I like to look at every time when you're boxing, you want to have a center line. You want to have that center line, okay? On that center line, you want your head and your nose right on that center line, okay? So when that punch is coming right down the center line, we either need to move our head left of the center line or right of the center line. I'm going to go ahead and get in a orthodox stance, which means my right shoulder is going to be behind me, my left leg is going to be out in front. So looking at this center line, to slip to the outside, a lot of coaches will just teach you to just twist your torso, pull that head over. Your chin's down, your eyes are up, your hands are up, punch goes right by you. What I find the mistake, that's not inaccurate, but I find that in the recreational world of boxing, we have all different shapes, all different sizes, all different abilities in these boxing workouts, and we need to understand that not everybody has that initial ability to just slip like that. It's going to take a lot of torque, it's going to put a lot of pressure and twisting of your lower back. What I like to teach my students as in the beginning, and then I'll kind of correct them as we go. In the beginning, we do a lot of pivoting, and then as you become more comfortable, we take the pivot out as a little more, okay? But there's always, I believe, a way to progress your students to where you want to prevent as much injury as possible in the beginning, and then as they become comfortable, you can kind of tone it down a little bit, define them, refine them into a smaller space, more correct. So what I like to do when I slip to my outside or to my lead side, I'm going to pivot that back foot just like I would if I threw a cross, a rear upper, or a rear hook. Any punch coming from the backhand, we're going to pivot that back foot. But if our head is on center line, I'm going to have my hands up into that, probably like this is a low guard, medium guard, high guard. I'm going to be in that medium guard, and I'm going to just slip, and I'm going to use my shoulder to kind of protect my jaw, and I'm going to let that punch go right over the center. So by slipping, my weight comes forward. I don't slip back. Common mistakes I see with a lot of people is they'll slip back or they'll just turn to the side. You don't want to do any of this stuff. So the mistakes I see is people bending over, people bending back, people just turning their head. They'll turn away and look over that way. Always keep your eyes forward, chin down, eyes up, always seeing your opponent. So when I'm slipping, my eyes stay forward, pivot that back foot just enough to get that punch to go right by. We don't need to be going way over here. We don't need to be rolling. I see a lot of people rolling their shoulder. It's just simply slipping, getting that head off center. That allows us, in this position, my weight's forward, I've got my back foot up, my hands are up. I'm gonna counter with either the lead upper or the lead hook. That's my 5 punch or my 3 punch. Going to this outside of that lead, I can counter with either the upper or the hook, okay? Now let's go ahead and switch gears. I'm gonna slip to the inside, to my right. So on this one, I like to pivot. For beginners, once again, beginners, I like to pivot just like you would, just like I would teach someone to rotate that front foot on a lead hook. I'm gonna have my beginners slip, takes all that pressure off their lower back, which I really believe that slips, rolls, things of that nature. Those are your basics, just like the jab, cross, hook. I'm gonna refer to the slip and the roll as foundational defensive moves. So in beginning, a lot of people, if you just go like this, you're gonna put a lot of torque on someone's back if they're deconditioned, they haven't boxed before, they haven't worked out in a long time. These type of movements are gonna put a lot of strain on people's bodies. So what I like to do is have them slip and just give me a small turn. I like to have their weight on their back foot, and I just simply ask them to pull their head to the inside. Keep their eyes up, their guard up, and just pivot and just pull that head to the side. Pull that head to the side. Once again, I like to look at it as a framework. Your head right now, my head looking straight ahead is on my center line. Picture a box right around my head. We have a box over here and a box over here. So there's 3 frames. Frame 1, center line. Frame 2 to the outside. Frame 3 to the inside. So right now, my head's in frame 1. I'm gonna slip to the left. It goes right into frame number 2. Return to frame 1 and over to frame 3. Return to frame 1. Frame 1 is my center line. Slip to frame 2. Slip to frame 3. Frame 2, frame 3, back to 1. From 1, we're gonna slip to frame 2, back to 1, and to frame 3. It's just this simple movement. When we double slip, you have to be a little quicker. Slip, 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 slip. I'm on this bag. I'm gonna throw my 1-2, my jab, cross. I'm gonna slip to that same side, which is my inside to my cross, and then I'm gonna counter. This brings up a really good point. And this is mainly for boxing trainers, instructors out there that are on this channel, or if you're working out by yourself, either at home or somewhere else. You wanna put combos together and you wanna try and slip. Kind of a rule of thumb. The rules that I like to tell my students and my instructors and trainers that work within me is when you throw it, when you're gonna add a slip to a combo, slip to the same side you landed your last punch. So if I threw a jab or a double jab or a triple jab, let's say I throw my jab, I'm gonna slip to my outside to my left off that jab. If I threw a jab, cross, lead hook, 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna slip to that lead hook side, okay? If I go jab, cross, lead uppercut, I'm gonna slip to that lead uppercut side. Same thing with the backhand. If I go jab, cross, I'm gonna slip to that cross and come out of it with a cross. 1, 2, slip, 2. 1, 2, draw the hand back, and then slip and fire your 2. Keep the chin down, eyes up. 6, 3, 2, 6, 3, 2, slip, 2, 3, 2. Okay, rear uppercut, that was a rear uppercut, lead hook, cross. Rear upper, lead hook, cross. Off that cross, I'm gonna slip and land another cross. Rule breakers. I'm not a big fan of certain rules being broken, but I'm gonna talk about them. So when I see someone throw a jab cross and then they slip to the outside, that is possible, but for me, I like to teach my clients that when they throw their jab cross, their head is already over inside this frame number 1. So when you throw your jab cross, your head's already in frame number, this is frame 1, frame 2. When you throw your cross, slipping that outside, you'd have to really dig deep and over your outside, which I'm not a fan of. Head, body movement going on the outside, you lose balance, you become very vulnerable. So for a basic training, you want to throw your slips off that same side, jab, cross, hook, slip, lead upper, lead hook, cross. Get in that habit of slipping that side. Double slip since there's no opponent coming at you. Jab, cross, slip, slip, up, hook, cross. Great way to just small movements. Once again, let's summarize. For you guys at home, for everybody at home, when you're slipping, footwork, okay? Let me get in that frame 1. I'm in frame 1. Once again, to summarize, pivot that back foot, head over my lead leg, my weight's over my front foot, I'm in frame 2. Return to frame 1. Slip to the inside, I pivot that front foot, just as a beginner to get that torque off that back. But when you become more of an advanced, you're gonna slip, you're slipping. You may not pivot, but beginners, I really recommend taking your back and the torque and the twist out of it as much as possible. You'll be a little bit quicker because you can slip to the outside, you can slip to that inside. You're not having to rely on your back muscles to be explosive, you just pivot, use your footwork to get that head off center, using that footwork. Once you get a little more advanced, now you can move that head and you've got the core. You've got the core development to be able to control yourself a little bit more. That's my summary of the slip today. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram. Once again, my name is Coach Steve. Thank you guys for all your support and your likes and follows.